Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is about noon. This is the first video of the week. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it, make sure that we could set ourselves up for success this week. First and foremost, let's talk about the backdrop of the market and kind of little incidental details. First and foremost, I'm going to start off with Bitcoin only because Michael Saylor, who is the CEO of MicroStrategy, which is my main indicator for Bitcoin, and I'm explaining why, sold quite a bit of Bitcoin to pay for their dividend. Bitcoin was down this morning, has recovered some, and is now green. So if you don't know who Michael Saylor is the polarizing figure for MicroStrategy. He was the CEO that continues to buy and sell Bitcoin. Well, he said he would never sell. Now he's selling. As you can see, MicroStrategy down to 101 this morning. It turned green. It was down earlier, red, and is now green. As you can see the headline, it's sold 3,500 Bitcoin. So for me, my capitulation indicator is Michael Saylor. Is basically liquidated or at the tail end. That's when I know Bitcoin has bottomed. There is a strong area of support in the 60,000. I've still been on record. I still think we're due to go down a little bit lower. Initially, I thought 45. I don't know if we're going to touch 45. We might stay in the 50s. I'm starting to say, for the people that ask me, the risk versus reward here in this $60,000 accumulation zone seem to be favorable. If you're somebody that doesn't own Bitcoin, this could be a good time to start accumulating. If you're dollar cost averaging like me, maybe this is a good time to increase your dollar cost average. I did for the first time this Saturday. Moving forward, I've increased my weekly buys. It's still not ready for me to trade yet, but when it is, I'll let you know. All right. Moving along, we are done with Bitcoin. Thank God we got that out of the way. Okay. Oil. Oil is up slightly this morning, but this chart looks like absolute shit. And so for anybody that's long oil, good luck. You're going to get body bagged. I am still short oil. Yeah, oil looks terrible, basically getting denied at the 5-day moving average, riding it down below all major averages. If you're a technical trader, this looks absolutely terrible. If you're a oil bull, you're hoping Trump says some crazy radical shit or somebody from Iran blows something up or blows themselves up, because I don't see this going back up anytime soon. Even though historically the summer months are the worst for oil prices, it was just so overdone because of the conflict. Okay, moving right along. All right, gold is up. This is another one where I think the risk worth versus reward for you here at this dollar range, which is 4,100, I think is good. I still think Bitcoin's going to I digress there. I think gold is going back to $5,000 an ounce. I think it's going to even get higher. If you're somebody that's looking to start a position, this is a good area. I own it, but more for a defensive mechanism and more of a hedge against my equity portfolio. Okay, moving along. Now to the important stuff, because we want to talk about stocks. But we do have to talk, we're not talking about natural gas. We are talking about the Nasdaq. All right. Main driver, main index of the market we look at. So essentially, let's kind of summarize what we had last week. Friday, obviously, we had no trading. July's been choppy. June, as we know, was a terrible month. So last week, it is my opinion that we had some digestion and we had some overall selling that I think was overdone. The thing that I will say is this selling was on a lot of pedestrian volume. And relatively, if you want to take a look here, relative volume was really, really, really low. And so I think a lot of that selling was overdone to the point of the downside. And I think now we can begin our uptrend again. That is my overall opinion of it. That's how I'm positioned. We are slightly above the 50, the 21 right now, as you can see. Only because the market is up quite substantially this morning. We opened up lower than the 21 and the 50, but I think today we get it back. I'm in a bull phase right now. I don't think this rally is over. I still think we have some time. The writing will be on the wall when that time comes. Look, a lot of people pointed to Michael Burry is short Tesla, he's short Micron, he's short something else, he closes short on Palantir. You want people to be short your names. I mean, that's a good thing. You don't want everybody to pile into your names and be on the long side. That's usually how they burn out. So I think people read into things. Just block out the noise. Go historically off of precedent. If you're a technical trader, you know that rallies last longer. And you have the tailwinds of a lot of favorable catalysts at your back right now. I don't think Kevin Warsh is a negative towards this market, your Fed chair. I think he's a positive towards this market. He's going to have his Fed meeting. Some inflationary markers are starting to look more favorable. Admittedly, the conflict has definitely created a problem with energy, but take a step back and overall analyze the position that we're in. And I think it is quite conducive for an uptrend or for a continued uptrend. And that is the way I'm positioned. So with that, now we can now start talking about our trades for the week and what we've done and what we haven't done. Let's start off with Liquidia. I'm going to go into the ones I'm holding. Liquidia, this is one of the sectors that I like. This is just stairs up. This is looking really good. I bought this about 2 weeks ago. If you don't have a position here, this is a buy, in my opinion. This is not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes. This is a buy. I still own this. I have not trimmed. Liquidia. XBI, which is tied to that sector, that is the ETF. I talked about this 2 weeks ago. This is absolutely looking great. It continues to go up. This whole sector, money is flowing and rotating. And again, I'm going back, not to rehash, but in a good, healthy uptrend bull market, you want to see money rotate into different sectors. And you see money left fiber optics, went into software, biotechs. This is very healthy, so you want to see that continued uptrend. Okay. Hood, sorry, let me go to Hood. I sold a piece of that, but this looks phenomenal still. It's getting past overhead supply here. This looks great. I have still a large chunk of my original position here, riding that out up 5%. This was a nothing burger on Thursday. If you sold because of this, that was foolish. It didn't even get below the wick of the prior day. That gap fill, whatever, not enough there. So anyways, Robinhood looking good. We're still in that. Okay, Tesla, I mentioned this last week, funny enough. I've been holding this now for sorry about that. I've been holding this for about 6 to 8 weeks. Been basically flat on this trade, a couple times down a couple percent. Anyways, I'm slightly green. Had a terrible day Thursday though. Getting 5% back. Your trip point is above the top of this wick, so 432 would be an activated buy point. I just think that this has got a lot of catalyst behind it, so we're gonna stay in that name. Intel, which I've been, kind of pounding my chest, saying this is one of my favorite charts. I did buy the dip, admittedly, on Friday. I just could not. Sorry, guys, little parch there. Okay, so I had to buy the dip Friday. I absolutely had to. Bought the dip Friday. We've got 3% up today. All the chips are doing good. I still would have liked to see a bigger move because 3% is not a lot considering how it ended on Thursday, The chart still looks good, double bottom. This is a cup forming a handle. Very low volume on the selling. Patience will pay. I know some of you just don't have any patience, so whatever. IGV, I've talked about this. This, I think, this looks great. Not financial advice, but this is a buy. If you don't want to play individual software names, you can play this. I own this. This looks good. I think this is going to take out this high of 107. Pinguino, this has been a hard hold for me. This is a choppy mess. I warned last week this looked like a double top. I hated what I saw there. Thursday sold off nasty, but now up 12%, and I did buy. I did buy shares on Thursday. I would not advocate for that. Most people, at least if I was advocating, I would have told you to sell it Thursday. I did the opposite of what I would have normally have done. I just think this is a stock that is going to continue its uptrend. And so I had to remove my stop loss. I had to throw it out of here. You saw they were upgraded this morning to 75. Look, where we need all systems go is above 77. That's the trigger point to just go. I'm going to hold it, and I have some conviction here. I also have a lot of profits from Micron that I rolled into here, so I have some conviction, and I think we're going to rock and roll. The Pinguino still holding his course. Dell, this has been a difficult one for me, but Trump was pounding his chest this morning. He says you got to buy it, and if the president of the United States is buying it, he's trading a lot of stocks, hard to deny, up 4%. I still think this chart looks great. I did admittedly reduce my position last week. I didn't really love the overall movement. It's been a little bit of a choppy mess, but I'm still in it. As you can see, the headline, Trump says buy. Trump says buy. I think it's a good sign. I don't know. Trump also says buy Micron, which I'm going to pivot here, but Michael Burry is short Micron. Anyways, one of them is going to be right. Will it be Michael Burry or will it be Trump? I don't know. My money's on Trump on this one, though. I don't think this is going down right now. I think this is extremely oversold. I think these Wednesday and Thursday was a massive, and I mentioned it last week on my Wednesday video. I said, you could potentially take this for a trade. If you did, though, you'd be underwater 2-3% because I did do that, and I'm still underwater like 3% or 4% even with this move. I think this is going to recover. This is going to be fine. Pivoting now to SanDisk. This is one that I like, and I'm in. SanDisk up a little bit more. Again, very oversold Thursday. This was overdone. And the volume was nothing spectacular for the sale. Like, it wasn't anything to where you were just like, oh, wow, that's a concern. I didn't think it was. So SanDisk still holding that. And I think, honestly, SanDisk has an opportunity to really rebound this week. And I think if you're looking for a weekly trade, SanDisk and Micron, not financial advice, I think you're in good hands with either one of them. Okay. Here's one of my small stocks. I bought this a couple months ago, and and a lot of people love these cheap names. And yes, this has worked out. I know one of my friends is in this. My family member. I got a couple other people in this. This is not a huge position for me, but I think this is a $4 stock. I'm up already like 40% on this, maybe 45. But like, I know a lot of you love these small stocks. This is just one that I happen to like. And it was breaking out today too high. The short interest on this was 10%. The ratio has fallen, but this is an interesting name that I think could get some legs. If you're looking for a small name, I mentioned this on one of my videos about, I don't know, 2 months ago. I think I bought it at like $2 or $1.90. I don't know, somewhere around. IMNM also in a sector that I love. And this was my conviction play for 2026. Finally working out. Clay Siegel is the CEO. This guy's going to eventually sell this company. For dear God, you know what? I can't tell you what to do. Buy some of this in your IRA. I have a feeling this is going to get bought out in the next year. Pretty sure they're going to get bought out. This guy has a great reputation, the CEO. The chart looks good. I think you're going to see an upwards trend. And yeah, still holding that as a position. TGTX. This still looks great. This is going to break out to over $60. Anyways, I'm still holding my shares. This is not financial advice, but you definitely should have bought some on Thursday. If you did it, you can still buy some today. All right, moving right along. Open. God knows everybody asks me about Open. Yes, I still own my shares. This is a terrible looking just disaster, but the downtrend line has not broken it yet. I think 580 is the downtrend line, but up again 7% today. I own it. Conviction. Do what you will with that information. I'm throwing out everything that I own here. Wow. Bitcoin. What's funny is so Michael Saylor sold this morning, and now Bitcoin is kind of catching a move. And I've talked about, and I started the video saying, and I just realized that like the capitulation indicator is Michael Saylor. I would not be surprised if IBIT gets into this range very soon, into the mid 40s. I actually have a friend that took some calls this morning on IBIT and bought some BTCI. Just throwing that out there if you're interested. I'm not going to do that, but yeah. I own BTCI. This is a disaster. I just own this for the dividend. Eventually it'll be fine. This is just a disaster of a stock right now. Okay. I think that's all I got for today. I gave you some plays. I'm going to go to Lumentum just so you could understand the overall sector, because some people have asked me about this sector. Up 1%. I had to completely eradicate this position last week. I think it was Tuesday or Monday. I had to sell it. I think this whole sector is in a stage 4 decline. Sienna, another one. I mean, it looks a little bit better. AAOI. These are all in the same exact sector. I mean, these are beat down. So I'm just pointing this out because somebody asked me about this. So I had to sell those. I did take like a 5 or 6% loss on, actually a cumulative loss. I don't think I lost anything on Lumentum because I made profits before. I probably broke even or something, but you should never let a good trade go bad. And I basically let a good trade go bad there. So that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a great week. Keep your eye on the prize. For those of you that text me every single day, just know there's, I trade what it's given to me, the market. I'm not predicting futures here 6 months out. It's foolish. So don't be a putz, set your stops, make good decisions, and I'll see you later this week.